Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. In the last episode, Liliana told us to go to the hinterlands and speak with Mother Giselle, and we will do that eventually. However, there are still members of the Inquisition that we have yet to have a proper conversation with. And I say we start off with our ambassador, Miss Josephine Montilyet. I do believe she's through here. Yes, this is her door.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinia's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked her life to slow the magic of the breach. Mistress Lavelan, this is the Marquis d'Aurelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House d'Aurelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
Oh, I can only imagine what is going through Aenor's head right now. Just what have I stumbled into? This was... Oh no, this isn't good. You own this land. Yeah, I think this would be news to Aenor. I imagine she probably just thought that Haven was owned by the Chantry, given that it's, a holy site.
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denver, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
Its followers need shelter. The Divine's advisors founded it. We all have bigger problems. There's absolutely no need to be a dickhead here. Here's the thing. Yes, his tone is rather spiky, especially this line right here. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds. Like, very spiky. However, if you actually listen to what he says, specifically the line before, oh, we were honored to lend her its use. Justinia was a woman of supreme merit. He's clearly in mourning. He is clearly in shock. And grief affects people in very different ways. Clearly, it affects this guy by making him rather angry. There is no need for us to get sassy with a guy who is just grieving and taking out his frustrations on passers-by. Like, let's show compassion here. So either of these, I'm drawn to its followers need shelter. This guy, he clearly thinks he's trying to protect Justinia's reputation, that we are an upstart order that is using her name after she died to get some kind of recognition or whatever. He clearly cares deeply, and I think we should try and appeal to that.
People have been injured. You can't just turn them out onto the snow.
And who benefits if they stay?
Divine Justinia, Marquis. The Inquisition, not the Chantry, is sheltering the pilgrims who mourn her.
Why is the Chantry ignoring the faithful?
Because it remains in shock. We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montilyet. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Does the Marquis own Haven? Was he being honest, or was he just talking out of his arse?
Do the d'Aurelions actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the d'Aurelions are Orlesian. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
Sorry for interrupting. You handled the Marquis well, so the Marquis was bluffing. Well, he wasn't bluffing. He does own Haven. It's just getting it back isn't going to be as easy as he made out. Yeah, sorry for interrupting. Aenor, presumably she just thought that Josephine was alone. She didn't expect her to be handling a noble. And here's the thing, I think Aenor, straight off the bat, she has a lot of respect for Josephine because Aenor is not a diplomat. Aenor is not, like the idea of having to sway a person or a group of people using her words and her charisma, that brings Aenor out in like a cold sweat. She's not, I don't want you to think that Aenor is like, oh, dumb warrior, me hit things with stick, bap, murder hobo. Like, no. Like, she's very friendly, she's very compassionate, and I don't think she's charisma-less. She's just not a trained diplomat. And I think, a fear of public speaking is very common. Even if someone is, very charismatic, they can still have a fear of public speaking, and that's kind of what Aenor is. She's like, I was not trained to talk to people in a professional capacity. So, like, the fact that you are, I respect you for that, and I'm very sorry for interrupting.
I apologize for the intrusion. I didn't realize you were meeting with the Marquis.
You did little harm. In truth, the debate was most beneficial as practice for those to come.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
Yeah, how did you become our ambassador?
May I ask, what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
And what's your background?
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
I'm glad you're here. Having you around can't hurt. These politics are ridiculous. No. On one hand, Aenor can agree with this, but not wholeheartedly. Politics are necessary. When politics gets in the way of dealing with the big fuck-off hole in the sky that's threatening to consume the world, that's when politics is stupid. However, on a general day-to-day basis, no, we need politics. We need that infrastructure. Aenor is just very glad that this isn't being left to her, because she'd have to give a speech and it'd just be tongue fumbles and all legions would be offended. That's what would happen if Aenor was in charge of the diplomacy here.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montilyet.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas's politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
God, I have such a crush on Josephine. Me, Callista the player. I love Josephine. I'm just like, oh, sweetheart, I want to go for a walk with you through a nice forest. That would be very pleasant. Yeah, Aenor. I think, to be honest, out of all of the people she's met, Aenor would be crushing the most on Josephine. Just because their skill sets are so opposite, I guess. Aenor, she's not a trained diplomat. She's very friendly. I don't think Aenor is an unpleasant person, or that she's, she can't talk to people. She's socially awkward. I don't think that's the case. She's just not a public speaker. That isn't within her repertoire of abilities. And the fact that Josephine is so capable. I mean, Josephine really quickly picked up what Aenor was putting down with that marquee. Aenor's like, okay, we'll try and appeal to his better nature, you know, his love of Justinia. And Josephine, like, quick as a flash, was like, I get where you're going with this, Mistress Lavellen. Why you pronounced it Lavalan, I don't know, Josephine, but whatever, it's fine, it's all cool. Like, she picked up what we were putting down super quick, and I think Aenor would be like, that was highly impressive, madam. Like, I couldn't have done that. So, out of everyone, I think Aenor is crushing on Josephine the most. That crushing, it's a bit of an overstatement. Currently, Josephine has piqued Aenor's interest. Like I said before, Aenor, she's pansexual. She doesn't really know these people. She doesn't have a good grasp on who they are. So I wouldn't say she's attracted to Josephine or anything like that, but she is kind of like, oh, you seem pretty cool. I might like to get to know you better. Will that change? Will Josephine be the person that Aenor romances? I do not know. We'll just have to wait and find out. Because I like to keep the intrigue. I like to be suspenseful. That's why I like cliffhangers so much. What can I say? I'm a hoe for cliffhangers. Now then. The Children of Andraste. There are many misconceptions regarding Andraste's bloodline, monsieur. This is due, I should think, to a general lack of knowledge regarding Andraste's mortal life. Understandable considering the many cults that arose following her death. Everyone sought to claim Our Lady for their own culture, or claim that some aspect of her existence was a lie. All of them complete fabrications. My order has done considerable research to ascertain the truth. We all know Andraste and the Betrayer raised 5 children. The eldest 3 were sons, Isarath, Evrion, and Verald. The rule of what was once southern Tevinter was split among them. Isarath was given the west, what is today Orlais. Evrion was given the east, what is today the Free Marches. Verald was given the central Planocene? Planocene? Planocene! I have never encountered this word before. I am like, does not compute. We'll go with Planocene. Verald was given the central Planocene, what is today Navarra. What became of these men and their legacies is the stuff of legend, and the majority of claimants to Andraste's bloodline link back to one of them. None of the 3 sons, however, were born of Andraste. They were born of the Betrayer's concubine, Gillivan. People choose to overlook the fact that Andraste came from the Alamari tribes. Let's try that again. People choose to overlook the fact that Andraste came from the Alamari tribesmen, and that they were barbarians, not the Ferelden's we know today. They were savage warriors who took concubines in addition to their wives, and because Andraste was thought to be too weak to bear children, the Betrayer took Gillivan to provide him heirs, which she did. After her death, the sons were raised as Andraste's own. Later in life, Andraste proved predictions wrong and had 2 daughters by the Betrayer, Ebris and Vivial. They were kept out of the public eye and not permitted to marry, though both had consorts. Ebris had but one child, Ali Vamar, who perished on a voyage to Denerim, less than a month after her mother fell to plague and without children of her own. The younger daughter, Vivial, was more controversial. A strong-headed woman who defied her family by falling in love with the mage of Tevinter, Regulan. Vivial and Regulan went into self-imposed exile as the Exalted March began, and into hiding following Andraste's betrayal and murder. What became of Vivial and her descendants is largely unknown for one primary reason. She had only daughters. Each of those daughters only had daughters. They married into other families and took other names, and in the chaos of the Second Blight, all traces of survivors were lost. Andraste's true bloodline, if it exists, lies solely in the descendants of Vivial, and the suspicion of my order is that it produces only daughters. Thus, the claims of your young man, monsieur, are highly suspect. From a letter by Sister Galena of the Augustan Order, Dragon 912. I'm pretty sure this is the codex entry that is responsible for the theory that Flemeth and Morrigan are descendants of Andraste, because, Andraste produced only daughters. Flemeth also produced only daughters. That is highly suspect in terms of world building. Here's the thing, there is also another theory that Andraste held the soul of Mythal. And I think both theories are good. However, personally, I don't think that both can be true. I think it's either that Andraste had the soul of Mythal, or she is an ancestor of Flemeth and Morrigan. I don't feel like it can be both, because that is a lot of theories regarding the same group of people, and that seems rather messy to me, and it just, I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way. I'm kind of like, it's too many theories, it's too many strings pointing to this same group of people, and I dislike it. Personally, I don't think that Andraste held the soul of Mythal. I think she was an ancestor of Flemeth and Morrigan. I think it's cool, the idea that she had the soul of Mythal, but I don't necessarily believe it to be true. That's just my own theory. That's kind of where I lie on that scale. I'm not saying that, like, oh, if you believe Andraste held the soul of Mythal, you're a dumbass and wrong. No. Like, I have no way of proving that I am right. I have no way of proving that you are wrong. If you ascribe to that theory, like, hey, good for you. Like, I hope you are correct. Wishing you well for Dragon Age 4 to reveal that, various figures from Thedas history held the souls of elven gods. Like, it's all good. Like, I really don't get why some people get so argumentative over certain theories to the point where it's like, oh, if you don't believe this, then you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, why? It's a game. I love Dragon Age, but it's just a game. Why are you getting so aggressive? I do not understand this. Now then, Maeve, this was the last person we had to speak to in regards to, like, meeting the people of Thedas, not Thedas, meeting the people of Haven, the barkeep and the healer, all of that. Maeve was last on our list.
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway. I hope the Inquisition can restore order soon. I never really wanted to leave the Circle. My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker, Pentagast, and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
I have something for you. So you're a mage, you research creatures. Let's start off with why she researches creatures.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Yeah, but why study them?
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws, it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
Well, I do have something for you.
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it.
No, we have one thing.
Hello? Can I help you with something?
So you're a mage, then?
You said you were a mage?
No, just an apprentice. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Secret Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
Yeah, you chose not to join the rebels.
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
A pity you aren't Dalish. You're in the minority. I agree. I don't trust mages. This is a Dalish specific talking option, shall we say. It's not one Aenor would go with. One, I remember the tone of this, and it is very much like, if you had been born amongst the Dalish, you would have been so much more powerful. And that is an Aenor. That is, like, she would never take that tone. Literally, I was just saying a couple of episodes ago, she doesn't believe the Dalish are superior to city elves or circle elves. Like, no, they're all elves. One way of existence does not trump another. That's stupid. And so the tone isn't anything that Aenor would go with. Two, Aenor, she doesn't have rose-tinted glasses when it comes to the Dalish. How do I explain that? The Dalish elf I played when I was showcasing the origin stories, Rosanna, my Grey Warden, my Warden Mahariel, Rosanna has a very rose-tinted view of the Dalish. The Dalish way of life is superior. City elves, they're not really elves because they're all holding hands with humans, and nothing bad ever happens to the city elves because they're in the humans' pockets. And the Dalish are the best, and nothing bad ever happens to the Dalish except when it's the humans' fault, because fuck the humans. But being Dalish is amazing. You're hugging trees and like living your best life, and yeah, everything's great. Like that is how Rosanna views the Dalish. And Aenor would look at that perspective and be like, this girl is crazy, excuse me? Like, Aenor's view is that being Dalish isn't for everyone. Some people really don't take to the Dalish way of life. Hell, her own father doesn't really do well as a Dalish. I mentioned before, Aenor is named Aenor because that was her father's wish for her. He wanted to be a hunter. He couldn't. And the reason why he couldn't is because physically he's very weak. He has a crap ton of allergies to, like, certain trees. He has hay fever. Like, Clan Llewellyn really has to alter its routes for her father's sake. By routes, I mean, like, the places they travel, because if they go through certain forests, her father will have an allergic reaction and they'll probably waste, it's not a waste, it's saving his life, but they will use probably most of their elf fruit, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh god, what is the word I'm looking for? My brain is like, extract. No, not extract. Their stores of elf fruit, you know, that they could be saving for like a battle when they really need it. They'd use it all on him, keeping him stable until they were out of the forest, when they could have just gone around it, taken the long way, not had to use any of that elf fruit. Like, her father would do a lot better in the cities, but he was born Dalish. He wants to live like his people. You know, some people just aren't built for living in the great outdoors, just like some people aren't built for living in the cities. And literally, she just said, I like the idea of the outdoors, but not necessarily being out there, and I enjoyed studying and performing rituals. Like, she wouldn't have flourished living with the Dalish. We're not just going to ignore everything she just said to enforce our way of life. So no, absolutely not this one. Not this one either. Aenor doesn't understand mages or magic because she isn't one. She doesn't understand the struggles they go through. However, she doesn't have a fear of magic. Or rather, I should say, she has a healthy fear of magic. She's not like, oh, magic's scary, wary, woo, no. Like, she's not like Amelia. She's like, magic is dangerous. Just like a sword is dangerous. I could do a lot of damage if I wanted to. I don't, but I could. There is absolutely no reason for you to view me suspiciously just because I have this big-ass sword on my back. Just like there is no reason for me to treat Maeve suspiciously just because she can create fire whenever the fuck she wants. Like, basically, if you're going to be open with me, I'm going to be open with you. She only fears magic when it's like, oh shit, someone's throwing a fireball at my head. This could be really bad. So it is between these, I guess, because here's the thing, the reason why I brought up Aenor doesn't have a rose-tinted view of the Dalish, she also doesn't have a rose-tinted view of magic. Magic can be dangerous. There's no reason to treat every mage with suspicion. That's going overboard. However, magic can be dangerous, and mages, they do need protection. They shouldn't be jailed. They shouldn't be held against their will. I think that's ultimately what Aenor's thing is. City elves shouldn't be forced to live like the Dalish if they don't want to live like the Dalish. Mages shouldn't be forced to live in the circles if they don't want to live in the circles. However, there are some mages who want to live in the circles. Like, you can't, like, oh, I'm gonna free you. You're not freeing me. I want to be here. No, I'm freeing you. I'm freeing you. No, you're kidnapping someone. That's just kidnapping. Like, let's not. You're in the minority implies some sort of, like, I disagree with what you're saying. Because I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe. Okay. Like, that's really good for you. Like, I'm not going to invalidate your experience because I don't necessarily trust the Templars. You did. Yeah, I think I have to go with I agree, because this implies some level of like, oh, I think you're in the wrong. So, yeah.
Mages need protection. I wish more of them could see that.
I was born into a Dalish clan. I lived there until my magic manifested. The Dalish cannot risk having too many mages in one clan. And I was one more than they could bear. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
That's awful. That explains a lot. My clan found other ways. Yippee for your clan. Hers clearly didn't. I will say, if you pick the Dalish option, and, you know, you have that whole, like, oh, you would have flourished under the Dalish. It's a pity you're not a true elf. Maeve has such a good clapback. She's just like, oh, I wouldn't say that, darling. Just because I don't have the markings doesn't mean I'm not one of you. And I'm just like, yes, you tell her, girl. You tell her. Here's the thing. Clearly Clan Lavellen found a way around sending children off into the woods on their own, but hers didn't, and we shouldn't invalidate her experience. That is awful that happened to you.
I'm so sorry.
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
That's fair. Here's the thing. We're not going to invalidate Maeve's experience with the Templars. She liked having them there. You know, she felt safe. However, Maeve's experience doesn't invalidate someone who hated their time at the Circle, who was abused by the Templars. Like, both experiences are true and valid. And it's about finding that middle ground, I think, where mages feel safe, but they're not being kept someplace against their will.
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquil safe.
Yes. The mages took some of them when my Circle rebelled, but the rest were forgotten. Most circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves, can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
They're lucky to have you. That's interesting. Why? Here's the thing. I don't think Aenor has any opinion on the Tranquil. Making someone Tranquil, that's horrific. Aenor is like, fuck that noise, that's awful. However, of Tranquil themselves, she won't have really interacted with many. Like, she's had no reason to over the years, and I highly doubt there are just random Tranquil knocking about in the alienages of the Free Marches, so she doesn't really understand the whole, like, oh, I'm so freaked out by them, because she hasn't interacted with them. So these two don't make any sense. So yeah, they are very lucky to have you looking out for them.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
I'll speak with you later.
Travel safely.
Okay, so just to go over, what is Aenor's opinion of the circles of Templars of Mages? I will say Aenor doesn't necessarily trust the Templars. There will have been times when, maybe the clan were too close to a town and the Templars were like, we're gonna come out there. We're gonna come out there to get your mages, and they had to move on very, very quickly. So she doesn't necessarily trust the Templars as a whole. However, just it would be wrong to compare Aenor to Rosaana. They are two different people. Yes, they are both Dalish, however, they are separate people. You can't judge one Templar by what another has done just because they're in the same organization, no more than you can judge Aenor based off of what another elf did because they have the same pointed ears. That is stupid. It benefits nothing and no one. Aenor is willing to give individuals the benefit of the doubt. Like, are you an arsehole? No, you're not. Okay, you're wearing Templar armor. I don't care. You are a good person. Oh, you're a dickhead? Well, you are a dickhead. Like, I don't care about the clothes you're wearing. You are an arsehole. Like, she wants to judge people as individuals. She doesn't necessarily trust the organization. However, she is like, there can be some very decent Templars. And as for the mages, Aenor and myself, we're rather aligned in that we both think that the circles should exist, but they shouldn't be as they are now. Templars shouldn't be jailers, mages shouldn't be held against their will. And I was gonna say, I was a little bit iffy with the whole, when I had her agree, the whole, I'm getting incredibly tongue-tied towards the end of this episode. I do apologize. When she said, like, mages need protection, I wish more of them could see that. I was a bit like, ooh, how do I feel on that? However, when you think about it, the Keeper and their first, they have the clan protecting them. When a Keeper falls to magic, it is the clan's responsibility to hunt them down. Effectively, the clan is kind of like their Templars. Kind of, if you kind of squint and tilt your head. So, I can get behind that. Aenor is like, the mages do need protection. They also need to be around other mages because they're the only ones who know the shit that they go through. They're the only other people who know how they struggle. However, they shouldn't be kept someplace where they don't want to be. You can't get rid of their freedoms for the safety of, Aenor is very much about freedoms. You have to live with the consequences of those freedoms. She's not like, oh, I'm free, therefore I can do whatever the fuck I want. No, 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 no. You are free, therefore you have responsibilities. It's... Like I said, she believes the circles should exist, but they shouldn't be prisons. The Templar Order should exist, but they shouldn't be jailers. They should be protectors, like Aenor is.
We will study that.
Good stuff. And was that the only one? Hey, level up. And yes, there we go, the shadow essences. You know what? I'm just about out of time for this episode. In the next one, we continue exploring Haven, but until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.